Hello, students. I'm Jiten Kumar Chauhan from ABES Engineering College. Today, we will discuss about the one of the most important protocols, which is known as FTP, File Transfer Protocol, which is an application layer protocol. So, in the client-server model, the client can upload data to the server and download the data from a server here. If both the devices are using the one protocol, which is known as the File Transfer Protocol. So like the HTTP, which we can see in the earlier lecture, which is known as a hypertext transfer protocol, email, which is an SMTP protocol, and the addressing protocols, the FTP is commonly used application protocols. So we will discuss in detail. So FTP was developed to allow for the data transfer between a client and a server. An FTP client is an application which runs on a computer that is being used to push and pull the data from a FTP server here. So either we can upload the data towards the servers, or we can download data from a server. So these two mechanisms, which is known as a push and the pull data from the FTP server here. So let's see in this here, we can have the server, we can have a client. And if we want to connect a client towards a server, so we have two connections are here. One is known as a control connection, and the second is a data connection. So the control connection, which the client can open the first connection to the server for the control traffic. And the second, which we can say the data connections, the client can open the second connection for the data traffic. So we need the two ports for these connections. And the third, in which we can have the data transfer, starts from the server, transfer data to the client here. So the first, we have to open the control connection, which we can open with the port number 21. And the traffic consists of the client commands and the server replies. That means what kind of control commands we can basically pass towards the server. And the client establishes the second connection to the server for the actual data transfer using the TCP port 20 number. So these two ports are using either the port number 21, which is for the control connections, and the second port, which is known as the port 20, which is used for the data transfer here. So this connection is created every time there is a data to be transferred. That means whenever you want to download or upload the data towards the server or download the data from the server, we have to open this port number 20. The data transfer can happen in either direction. The client can download, that means pull the data from the server, or the client can upload that means push the data to the server side. We can have the another mechanism, which is known as the SMB, which is known as the server message block, and is a client-server file sharing protocol that describes the structure of the shared network resources. Like we can have the shared resources like the directories, files, printers, and the serial ports. So it is a request response protocols, and all the SMB messages share a common format, and this format uses a fixed size header followed by a variable size parameter and the data components. We can talk about the three functions of the SMB messages. First is the start, authenticate, and then terminate the session, which is basically the handshaking mechanism between the client and the server. Second is the control file and your printer access, which is the shared resources from the servers. And then we can say that allowing applications to send or receive the messages to or from the another devices here. So we can say the SMB file sharing and the print services have become the mainstay of the Microsoft networking. So with the introduction of the Windows 2000 software series, the Microsoft changed the underlying structures for using the SMB. So we can say in the previous Microsoft product, the SMB services used the non-TCP/IP protocols to implement the named solutions. So beginning with the Windows 2000s, all the subsequent Microsoft products use the DNS naming, that's domain name service naming, which allows the TCP/IP protocols to directly support the SMB resource sharing. Let's see, this is a resource sharing mechanism. Here, the client can send an SMB request message towards the servers having the various shared resources, and out of this, it can basically respond with the shared resource. It is on the SMB response. Now, we can say these are basically the SMB file exchange between the Windows PCs. As you can see here, you have the copy file, or you can say the copy file, or we can download the file from the server here. Now, unlike the file sharing supported by the FTP client, establish long-term connections to the servers. So after the connection is established, that means handshaking is done, the users of the client can access the resources on this server as through the resource is local to the client host. We can have the two operating systems, let's say the Linux and the Unix operating systems also provide a method of sharing resources with the Microsoft networks by using a version of SMB, which is known as Samba. So when we have the two different operating systems, either in the client side or the server side, we have to use this protocol, which is known as the Samba. And the Apple Macintosh operating systems also support the resource sharing by using the SMB protocol here. So now we can see that here we can have the FTP or the assembly messages to sharing the resources. These are the references used for creating this presentation or this lecture. And we can say this is a disclaimer. Thank you.